Hello, my name is Joe Wesley Alexander, and it is a pleasure to be here today to introduce to you my study, the correlation between self-compassion and worry. Just a little bit of background. There has been a lack of research regarding this topic, regarding self-compassion and worry. That has created a need for a better understanding of a possible relationship between the two variables. You see, self-compassion is a relatively new concept developed by Kristen Neff and her team of researchers. This concept is the idea of showing oneself grace or kindness during challenging times of life. For example, if I was an employee at work and my boss had approached me and asked me to do a task by a certain time. However, when that time rolled around, I had not finished the task that my boss had asked me to do. Therefore, I failed. Now, I might be feeling inadequate as an employee, perhaps sad, even angry, maybe fear of losing my job. Self-compassion would be to one, represent the common humanity in it all. You see, most employees feel inadequate when they fail a task. Most of them would even feel sad or angry. And plenty have felt fear, representing that you're not alone, that you can share in this commonality with other people that you may have not even met. Self-compassion would also be to practice what's called mindfulness, which is the process of looking in oneself, seeing what emotions you feel. In this case, I would feel sad, angry, maybe scared. Accepting those emotions, acknowledging that I feel them, and then moving on, not dwelling on them. That is mindfulness. Putting those two together, as well as simply showing yourself kindness, cutting yourself slack when you fail, giving yourself grace, compassion. This is what self-compassion is all about. While we use the self-compassion scale to measure self-compassion, we use something called the Penn State Worry Questionnaire to measure worry. Now, the Penn State Worry Questionnaire has proved to be a reliable and valid tool for measuring worry. It has been around much, much longer than the self-compassion scale. Now, using these two scales, we will be measuring self-compassion and then worry. And these two scales will create a virtual survey that I have already sent out via Google Forms. We'll get to that momentarily. Now, self-compassion has been found to act as some sort of buffer against stress and frustration, almost like a preventative measure. Because of this, I have been inspired of my hypothesis, which again was that those who score high in self-compassion will score low in worry. You see, I believe those who practice self-compassion, those who score high in it, those who give themselves grace will struggle less with worry. Now, the Penn State Worry Questionnaire has produced strong results, even if only a single factor from the questionnaire is used, which is very promising. Which is why I actually chose the Penn State Worry Questionnaire to be an item in my survey to measure worry. Now, let's talk about the methods of my study. I had a total of 55 people participate in this study via an online study, Google Forms. Originally, my goal was only 50 participants. We exceeded that amount by an extra 5 participants. However, out of the total of 55 participants, only 52 or 94.5% people completed the survey from start to finish. meaning that the total number of participants that I could use is 52. 46 of those participants were females, or 90.2% of those were females, and 5 of them were males, or 9.8%. Those participants were gathered via Facebook groups, other forms of social media, as well as directly emailing my colleagues. Participants were directed to complete an online survey consisting of the 2 individual surveys via Google Forms. That is the Self-Compassion Scale and the Penn State Worry Questionnaire. Now, in my survey, I asked for no identifying information. And I did give the freedom to skip questions, which allowed the participants to answer discreetly and freely. Now, taking a look at my poster here, we will quickly go over the demographics, just as a source of interest. The majority of my participants, 44.2%, were between the ages of 18 and 25. The highest level of education they received was some college, 67.3%. And most of them had no children. That's 57.7% of my participants had 0 children. This being said, my participants were most likely college students. However, not all of them, just a large pool of them. Before we get to the analysis model of our results, I would like to focus your attention on this side of the poster, here. After examining the results of my survey using the program JASP, I found that there was a significant relationship between self-compassion and worry. That relationship was a negative correlation between those 2 variables. The p-value, greater than 0.001, dictated that my null hypothesis must be rejected and the alternative hypothesis must be accepted. Now the Pearson R value was negative 0.440, meaning, again, that the correlation between these 2 variables was a negative correlation, and it was very significant. As a person's self-compassion improves, there was a trend showing that their worry will decrease, according to my study. As we can see here in the analysis model of the results. The X value was the mean of the Penn State Worry Questionnaire, while the Y value was the mean of the Self-Compassion Scale. Again, you can see by this straight line going down, this diagonal line, that there was a negative correlation between the 2. Again, as the mean of self-compassion rose, the mean of the Penn State Worry Questionnaire dropped. Thus, showing that my study, again, aligns itself with the hypothesis that those who score high in self-compassion will score low in worry. Now, such findings will only add to the field of psychology, bringing more evidence towards the benefits of self-compassion, as well as how even to possibly treat anxiety. Another benefit of my study is the population that I used. Almost all of my participants, or at least currently, live in what is known as the South, the southern region of the United States, the majority of them in Texas. However, this means that this represents what might be known as Southern culture, which in turn introduces just a little bit more of a diverse population in the grand scheme of things of those who might study self-compassion and anxiety. Okay. With that said, thank you all for being here today. I appreciate your time and attention. Have a good day. Goodbye.